Let's take a moment to discuss the importance of reviews and the role that they play in local SEO. So we have to ask ourselves fundamentally, why is it that people actually leave reviews? Like, what purpose do these things hold? Well, most people have one of two motivations. They're either trying to promote and support a brand through this interaction and maybe share it with their friends or let other consumers know that they had a good experience, or they want to warn other consumers and say, hey, I had a bad experience, or there's something you need to know about. So these are kind of like the two motivations. And as a brand, we have to ask ourselves, well, what do we actually do when somebody responds with a review? Like, what's the appropriate response? What should we expect to do? What's expected of us? The thing is that oftentimes people will only respond when they get bad reviews. So if they get 5-star reviews, they won't respond, and they'll be really motivated when they get the 1-star reviews, or maybe even worse, they don't even respond at all. There's a lot of brands out there that just have zero interaction and zero motivation to understand what's going on with their review behavior, their consumers, and respond in any way. The thing to keep in mind is that reviews are an important ranking factor. Now, there's a number of different charts that you'll see that look similar to this, so just consider this to be directional in nature. It changes over time. It depends on the sample size, etc. But we do feel confident that in local SEO, reviews are a significant ranking factor and that they should go up over time in addition to things like listings, citations, and classic SEO activities. Bright Local did a really interesting survey. You can see the link to the results down here at the bottom of the screen, but that report is just full of a bunch of these kinds of graphs. Now, granted, it's a little bit dated for our purposes, but you can use this again directionally. One of the things is that recency of reviews really impacts a decision. So you can imagine there's cases where, let's say, a business is acquired by a new owner, and they had a really good review background or a good review profile 2 years ago. Tons of people leaving reviews, and then new owners came in, and there just hasn't been a lot of reviews. There hasn't been a lot of interaction in that case. Or maybe you as a business got a ton of reviews 6 months ago. You did a whole lot of outreach. You did a big push to try to help people understand that you take reviews, and it was successful. But then in the last few months, it hasn't really been curated so much. Recency matters. Having a lot of review activity and curating those experiences matters. And you can see here that recent reviews definitely impact the decision on how people visit and interact with brands thereafter. Here's another one. When you read positive reviews, what's the typical next step you take? Positive reviews have a strong correlation with either visiting the business or visiting the website, and that seems consistent over time. So strong correlation between the behavior that comes out of the review as well as the quality or of the star rating on that review itself. So these are the two things that are important for ranking factors. Yes, it's the count of reviews. Previously, it was just the count of reviews, but in the 2016, 2017 timeframe, the sentiment of those reviews started being measured as well. Not just the count, but also the sentiment, who has a higher overall rating. And you can see that in hyperlocal or very competitive markets, where what gets displayed is something very, very close to you. So in this case, we were looking at attorneys in the Seattle area. You can see that it's a very small map that's being displayed. So these are just attorneys that are very close to where the search query was taking place. And sure enough, if you look at those results, both of the top listed attorneys on this list have quite a few reviews. And you can see that there's this balancing act between the sentiment, those people who have the higher overall star rating, versus those that have more reviews. And of course, some don't have any. So reviews play a very important role in terms of how people's behavior responds to a listing when they see them.